Hi, Waring families. This is Mrs. Ward, the school-based teacher leader at Waring. For those of you that don't know, that means I'm an instructional coach for our teachers and students at the school. We miss you very much, and we're here to help as much as we can get your learning and teaching done virtually. So today, I am going to be practicing a strategy that we call turn and talk. The students are very used to using this at school, so it should be they should be pretty knowledgeable about it, but we want to show you as parents and siblings what you should do to help students when they ask if they could do a turn and talk or when they try to share information with you. So a turn and talk is literally what it sounds like. The student is asked a question, and then at school, they're asked to turn to a designated partner and share what they are thinking. So today, I have my trusty partner who's going to come out of the corner here. My son Braylon is actually going to help us today, and he's going to pretend to be the student, and I'm going to pose some questions, and he's going to kind of act it out with us, okay? The reason we use a turn and talk strategy is so that it gives students a chance to think out loud and to hear what their thinking sounds like to somebody else, to see if it makes sense out loud or if they have totally missed the mark. When they say it out loud, sometimes they're like, oh, wait, that doesn't match what I just read or saw. So turn and talks give that chance for critical thinking to happen just by sharing with somebody else and kind of balancing out whether or not it makes sense. We usually have two different strategies that we use when we use a turn and talk. One type of question might be to be specific about what they have seen or read to get them thinking further. Now, these types of questions will come from your teachers as they're doing their Google Classroom work, but you could also use these if you ever get a chance to read aloud with your child or you get to work with them. You can always use any content like specific to what you've just saw or read based on the text. You could create your own questions and just ask them what they're thinking. We also just have some general thinking questions and follow-ups. So why do you think that? What makes you believe that's true? What did you notice on this page? And you'll see me use a few of these with Braylon. And then the last thing we do typically is a response. So you might come back and just say, oh, that's interesting, or thanks for sharing that with me. Or if maybe you're confused, you could always say, tell me more about that. Can you explain that for me? And those kind of follow-up questions or statements give that student the confidence that they need to continue to share. Okay, so we are going to use a portion of a book, Meteors. Okay, and we're just going to read a very small portion to give you a taste of what it's like to do a turn and talk. Down to Earth. Not all meteoroids burn up completely as they plummet toward Earth. The instant a space rock lands, scientists call it a meteorite. Most meteorites are no bigger than a grain of sand, but some are as big as a boulder. Meteor meaning, meteorite is a space rock that lands on Earth, another planet, or a moon. Weird but true. Around 500 meteorites land on Earth each year, but only about 5 of them are ever identified as space rocks. Breland, this says that only 5 rocks are identified as space rocks, even though 500 fall to the Earth. Why do you think that might be?
I think that because the bigger the rock, it will make they think that would actually be a meteoroid, and the ones that are like as small as grain sands could just be like rocks that blow over.
So they might be confused because of the size?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's look at another page. We're going to take a look at this really cool picture. What are you wondering about when you see this picture?
I am thinking that they're in space.
What makes you think you're in space?
Because of the planets and the asteroid belt.
Okay.
And the sun.
So you see the planets and the sun and the asteroid belt. What are you thinking you might learn on this page?
About how meteors are like shaped and how they land.
That's a great prediction. Thank you for sharing that with me. This is a great strategy that you can use on your own when you're just getting a chance to read, or you can use as your teacher directs, and they might just say, hey, Mom, this says I need to share with somebody. Pull that sibling over, lend a little ear even when we're cooking dinner, and just turn and that's interesting. Thank you for sharing with me. Hope that's helpful.